All right, Sports Mashup number 101, March 8th, 2023 is the date of today, and it is March. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and before we get into the NBA, as per usual, we start. Still got the prize from last week. We had a little mix up on some people not knowing how to get a hold of us. Some people see we didn't fully justify the rules. So the code word today is trophies. Whenever Ethan says that word in this podcast, you will message us on our Facebook page. Tell us when he said it during the podcast. Trophies, time in which it was said, or subject in which it was said.
Yep. All right. Starting the NBA, the Lakers retired Pau Gasol's jersey, places next to Kobe's pair of jerseys. I don't really know what truly justifies a jersey retirement. I guess I feel like the Lakers should maybe have a bit of a higher standard than Pau Gasol, but that's all right, I guess. I don't know. What do I know?
I mean, he won multiple rings there.
Yeah, but I feel like the Magics, the Kobe's, the Kareems of the world
Correct. I
are
mean,
completely.
theirs normally are super high standards on what it is. I think it more was about the guy, like him and Kobe's connection, his longevity of his career. I mean, yeah, afterwards he went and played for the Bulls. Was that the only place he played at? Or did
I
he have a
mean,
stint with the Spurs?
he played 7 seasons in Memphis, 7 seasons with the Lakers, 3 with the Spurs, 2 with the Bulls. Like, I don't
Oh,
know.
so he was in Memphis at first with his brother.
Yeah. But, like, he played more games with the Grizzlies than the Lakers. So it's kind of weird.
But how many championships did he win with the Lakers?
2, I believe. So I don't know. I mean, good player, great player. I don't know.
And he came in. He was one of the guys at his time. It was, I mean, Shaq's later in his career, but it was still Yao Ming and some dominant big guys, and he still held his own,
Yeah.
playing alongside Kobe and Phil Jackson's offense.
He was like the definitive second best player on those teams. So
Yeah, and he, I don't know, he was a good figure for the game, for Spanish basketball.
yeah, good player.
There was, I mean, Jimmy Butler was even a teammate of his, came to the game to be there for Powell. I saw a video of them before the game, him coming up and tapping Powell,
Yeah, I
giving
saw it.
his wife and his little daughter a hug, and then hugging Powell twice.
Yeah,
I
sure.
I don't mind it, but we've gotten into it before about some of these guys that they're talking about getting their numbers retired, and I'm like,
Yeah. Um, Kevin Durant makes his home debut in Phoenix tonight against the Thunder. Suns are 3-0 with him. He knows it's going to be loud. I don't know. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's out, so I think the Suns' game plan tonight is to don't let the Thunder hit a billion threes, and you'll probably beat them by 20. But who knows?
the spread is 13.
Yeah, the last time they played before Durant was playing and with Gilgeous-Alexander out a couple weeks ago, the Suns won by like, I don't remember, like 10 maybe, and the Thunder hit a bunch of threes in that game. Isaiah
Was
Joe.
was Booker and Paul in that?
Yeah, everybody for the Suns was playing except for Durant. So yeah, I don't know. I think the Suns' offense is almost unstoppable when they're healthy because if the fifth guy, if it's Okogie or Ish Wainwright off the bench, if they're making shots, it's like I don't know what you're supposed to do because that's what they did to Dallas. Ish Wainwright was making a couple threes, and then Durant takes over at the end, and him and Booker have a ton of points in the first 3 games together.
Yeah, Booker, he keeps poking the bear with Luka.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about this in the regular season, Luka's 2-9 against Booker. So I know people obviously the playoffs matter more, but people act as if Luka owns him historically throughout their entire careers, and that's just not true. And also, Luka was horrible in that game Sunday. He shot 19 free throws, couldn't make any shots, still ended up with like 30 points because he had a ton of free throws. But Luka, I want to like him, but he just plays a style of basketball that's almost unwatchable, where if he doesn't get a call, he's going to be complaining the entire time. He's going to beg for free throws. He's going to initiate all the contact and expect to get a call every single time. When he's playing like that, which is exactly what he did Sunday, it's very hard to watch.
And them not really having a legitimate five is hurting them.
They also don't defend at all. Luka's a terrible defender.
That's what I hated. Like not being like I was a Dirk fan, but I followed the Mavs. Them trading Dorian Finney-Smith hurts them because he could guard the one through the. He would guard the five.
Yep.
He would guard 1 through 5. He could still stretch the floor, and he was still athletic to run the floor. And then they got Kleber back, and now he's back hurt.
Yeah.
Christian Woods, they had him coming off the bench.
Wasn't playing in crunch time. They had Dwight Powell playing the 5 in crunch time.
Who I can't like his first couple years out of Stanford. Yeah, he was blocking everything and lobbing everything up to him. Now what's he do?
Yeah, I don't think that they're a team that is going to be able to go far in the playoffs this season. They're going to need to make some tweaks.
Well, they have JaVale McGee, who hasn't played in months. I'm assuming he's hurt as well, but maybe if they get those guys healthy by playoffs, they could make a run, because then at least you have 3 guys to play the 5.
Their entire basis of their team is based off if we're not going to be able to get – like they got 6 threes from Tim Hardaway in that game. He's not going to make 6 threes very often. And also, if he doesn't make 6 threes and Luka doesn't have a billion free throws, the Suns win that game by 20+. And then you go to the flip side and be like, well, the Suns got lucky because Durant and Booker aren't going to have 70 points combined in every game. But it's like they might. I mean, Booker – has had like 35 plus or 30, at least 30 plus in all 3 of these games, and very quiet as well.
In that matchup, the point guard has the advantage for Dallas because Chris Paul cannot guard Kyrie or Luka.
But if Chris
Paul's on Luka, Luka's going to post him up. Kyrie's too quick for him and too shifty for Chris Paul at this age.
Yeah, but that's the Suns' defense is more capable than the Dallas defense against each other. Durant's a great defender. That's one thing that annoys me is that people try to pretend
his height. It's like
people try to pretend like he's not a good defender. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a 3, but he's still 7 foot tall with like a 7'4" wingspan.
He blocked Kyrie in that game. Pretty sweet block there.
Who was the other game we talked about?
Mark Williams blocked him twice.
Yeah. Who I did see posterize someone the other day.
There you go. So I think that the Suns' big thing is trying to figure out how to get Ayton more involved because he hasn't been getting very many touches, not scoring a lot. You got to keep him focused. Made some big plays down the stretch, had a big putback, but health is obviously the number one issue for the Suns this season. That's their entire season going to depend on that because I think they're better than anybody in the West when they're healthy. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, tonight should be interesting. See how many minutes KD plays. He's on a minutes restriction the first 2 games. I think he played 41 on Sundays. I think that's pretty much over. And his efficiency is something that's just shocking to watch.
Ayton's got to know that his role was going to diminish when KD got there.
Yeah, but they can still –
even when Bridges was there, he shouldn't have been getting the numbers he was. But he needs to just focus on his defense and rebounds. And trying to get some offensive tip-ins and boards.
And they could also, like a team like Denver, they could pick and roll Jokic to death. Like Ayton has feasted against Denver in his career with the pick and roll. And it's going to be even more effective with Durant and Booker on the floor.
He's going to have his matchups where he can thrive. But in other matchups, he's got to learn that he just needs to play his game and let it come to him instead of trying to force it.
Yeah, I think that's always been a little bit of a strife between Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton, but I think they'll figure it out. I think when you have a team like this that's clearly going all in, I think it's easier for guys like Ayton to buy in. So we'll see if he does.
Jalen Brunson improving, but remains out for the Knicks. I mean, they're still doing pretty good at the moment.
I think they beat the Celtics without him. I think they lost to Charlotte last night.
And both times they beat the Celtics, they came back from big numbers.
I think Brunson was playing in that first game against them, but I'm not sure. But yeah, the Knicks are having a good season. They had that insanely, I would say, shocking win on Friday night in Miami where Julius Randle throws up a prayer and knocks it down from 3 late. But once again, the Knicks aren't like a real title threat. I think there's 2 teams in the East that could win a championship, and I think it's Milwaukee and Boston. You could maybe talk me into Philadelphia, I guess, but I don't see James Harden and Joel Embiid. I don't see that working in the postseason for 4 series.
But like those 3 teams should make the Eastern Conference Final.
They should all be in the mix, yeah. But also, a team that's playing PJ Tucker for 35 minutes is not going to win a championship.
No, he's not the defender he once was.
And he doesn't do that much outside of that. Maybe
No,
make some shots.
That's what he's in there for, is that.
But he can't be playing that many minutes. It's kind of like Patrick Beverley. Like, he can't be playing 35 minutes on a playoff contender.
Pat Bev?
Well, I mean, Patrick Beverley talks so much shit about the Suns, and then he's like lost 9 in a row against them. It's like, dude, what are you even doing? Like, he had a technical in that Suns Bulls game Friday night when he was on the bench.
Eight elbowed the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Did you not see that part with him?
I saw it. Yeah, please.
I said he was trying to play it off, trying to get that.
Things that didn't happen for $100 right there.
But then him and Book talked it up after the game. They tried talking to Ayton, and Ayton said to leave him alone.
I don't know about that. Proof it didn't happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're always going to get that. But I didn't even think about that either. With that whole buyout thing from the Lakers, which, while we're on Pat Bev, he got bought out from the Magic. So his state tax was paid for in Florida for that.
Easy money.
He said it saved him at least $1 million in taxes.
It's pretty good. Smart.
So he's like, thank you, Lakers.
The Lakers did him a favor by sending him to Orlando.
Yeah, because if he would have got that buyout from Chicago, wouldn't have got that. I mean, it wouldn't have been as bad as
California.
Yeah, but Illinois State taxes still would have got you.
Yeah, still up there.
And then Ja Morant in trouble. Supposedly now they're saying that there won't be charges. It was a 2-game suspension. Then there was talks about it being risen to 50. Now they're saying we'll miss 4 more games, so just a 6-game suspension.
Yeah, there was something about if you bring a firearm into a team environment or a locker room or a plane or something, that it's a 50-game suspension in the CBA. But then there was a whole thing about that. It just seems like he needs to take some time away, figure things out, because the things that he's doing off the court are incredibly stupid.
Yeah, which, I mean, I think that rule probably got brought in when
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas brought his into the locker room.
Yeah.
And who knows where Ja Morant's got to. We know I got on the team plane, but we don't know if it went into the locker room, stayed in the hotel, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, right now it's a 6-game, but could be more.
The Grizzlies have a lot of problems. They have a lot of problems in the fact that they're a team that has talked a lot of smack for a team that hasn't won a thing.
See, there's a center I wish the Mavs would have gotten at the trade deadline.
Steven Adams?
Yeah.
I don't think Memphis would trade him if they think that they're contending, though.
No, but I'm like that type. Like, he knows his role. He's not in there to score. He gets rebounds. He protects the rim.
I believe there was word that they had like a team meeting and Steven Adams was telling Ja and all those guys to quit messing around. We got to focus on this. And then the strip club is, oh my God, this is insane. And nobody likes Dylan Brooks. He's a little, I mean, give me a break. I like Dylan Brooks so much in college. Now I'm like, okay, I hate this.
I'll say you can't say that. You're an Oregon guy.
Well, I liked him in college and now I don't. And is anybody scared of the Grizzlies if they're fully healthy in the West? I don't know. Where would they rank in terms of contenders in the West if they're fully healthy? 5th?
I don't know how we talked about last week, how 4 through 13 were.
Yeah, but there's like the Kings aren't winning anything.
Well, you never know what spark they get with the amount of points they put up a game.
Yeah, but they don't play any defense. And in the playoffs, it's just so much different. I think Phoenix, Denver, the Clippers, even though the Westbrook thing is scary. Golden State, I wouldn't want to rule them out just because they've earned that right, but I don't think that they're going to win anything this year. And then nobody's scared of the Lakers. The T-Wolves and Kings, nobody's scared of. Memphis is probably 4th or 5th. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody.
Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas, that's true. But they don't play any defense either, so I don't think that they're that big of a threat this year. So, and all these teams talk a ton of trash about the Suns, and it's like, hey, the Suns have gotten further than anybody else in the West, not named the Warriors and the Lakers, I guess, in the past 3 or 4 years. Like the Suns got to a finals. Luka got smoked in the Western Conference Finals. Ja got smoked in the second round. So like everyone talks like Booker hasn't done anything. It's like he has done something. That's just, little things that annoy me. And it's just I don't really, I just want to win a championship. I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah. I mean, even during these stats, like, yeah, the Warriors still top of threes. They made 73s in the week.
One thing that's saving them is that Clay looks good again.
But I mean, also making 73s in a week.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And now, I mean, the Celtics aren't far behind them in threes made for a team.
Interesting.
So it's not just Tatum Tatum's been shooting more threes, and so does Jaylen Brown, but their supporting staff has also been helping.
Yeah.
But stats through last night, the 7th points per game, Luka at 33.3, who's tied with Embiid. Team points per game is the Kings. They went up to 121.1.
Rebounds per game is Domantas Sabonis of the Kings, 12.3, and rebounds for a team is the Bucks at 49.
Who are on a hot streak still, even when without Giannis and Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are a bigger threat in the East than the Celtics when it comes to the playoffs, but we'll see. I really hope that there is an Eastern Conference Finals between those two.
Is Chris Middleton, he back? Or going to be back at all?
He's going to be back if he's not back. Now he might be back. I don't remember.
Assists per game, James Harden up to 10.8. Assists per game as teams, Warriors at 29.7.
Blocks per game, Jaren Jackson Jr., 3.2. Team blocks, the Nets at 6.4.
Which I think that's maybe another thing that helps the Warriors stay in on that Western Conference side is because of how well they move the ball between each other. And any of those guys can have a hot night.
There's also a DNA thing when it comes to winning, and they've got four or five guys on that roster that have won 4.
Yeah.
You got Draymond, Steph, Clay, Looney. I think Looney was there for all 4, wasn't he? Or at least 3?
At least 3.
And then because the first one they won, I think Andrew Bogut was playing the 5 for him, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, you still got
Iguodala's won 4, so
you still got Jordan Poole, who, I mean, was the point guard when Steph was hurt.
Wiggins was really good last year in the playoffs.
I don't know if Gary Payton Jr. is going to be back at all this year.
I think he will be back. I just don't think it's going to be for a while. I think it's going to be real late, early playoffs.
But I mean, he could help him in the playoffs as be another shooter and playmaker.
Yeah.
Steals per game is still OG Anunoby at 1.9 of the Raptors. I think he's tied with Jimmy Butler of the Heat. And team steals per game is the Raptors at 9.2.
Field goal percentage, Nick Claxton of the Nets at 70.8. Team field goal percentage, the Nuggets at 50.9.
Which Claxton's field goal percentage just keeps going lower and lower a week. And I think Mason Plumlee's right behind him at like 68 point something.
Huh.
But both guys centers, so of course they're going to have a high field goal. Threes made, Buddy Hield, 246. I think Clay's in second. And team threes made is the Warriors at 1,092.
3-point percentage, Malcolm Brogdon of the Celtics at 46.1. Team 3-point percentage, the Nuggets 39.
Team free throw percentage is 76ers at 83.6. Went up 0.6 from last week.
Interesting. NFL.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, it's a $160 million deal. How many years is that?
4, but it's essentially a 2-year deal with outs after the first 2 years, which is pretty much what you have to look at with all these NFL contracts. I think it's guaranteed 82 or something. So
Yeah, basically, like we're giving you a little bit of wiggle room here, but if you mess up, we're
Yeah,
gonna move on.
yeah. So I think that this is kind of predictable after the first QB deals in the week that we saw.
Like,
And Daniel Jones does have more playoff success technically than
yeah,
Geno Smith or Derek Carr.
this
So
is him. Like, oh, let's look at some freshman QBs right now. Where are they gonna be at in 2 years? Yeah, let's see what Daniel Jones is. What's this gonna be like when these guys are able to come out?
Arch Manning, yeah.
Um, and also the Giants tag Saquon with the franchise tag.
Yeah, it was the what do they call that? The franchise tag where teams can still the non-exclusive franchise tag or whatever, where
Yeah,
a team could sign it, but they have to give up 2 first-round picks. So
yeah.
I don't think that's
You
going
have
to
to
happen.
you have to match the amount or more, and give 2 first rounds. But also, like if you give them a higher number, the Giants can still opt into that amount, or they can take the 2 first round picks.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody's going to do that.
Uh, and Derek Carr signs with the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we probably saw this coming.
Well, I mean, they talk about how good his time was up there with the Jets, and with how good he was in reaction with Salah, and then getting Nathaniel Hackett in there as their OC, and having familiarity. I think was with the quarterback coach who he had in Vegas in 15, 16, or
Sure.
16, 17, 18 or something. Is their quarterback coach there? So people really thought he was going to go there.
Smarter move for Carr to go to a worse division and a conference that's more wide open than the AFC.
Well, and he kind of gains a little in the receiving room, except he just loses at tight end. I
Who's
mean,
the
there's no,
quarterback to go through in the NFC now if Rodgers isn't in Green Bay? Jalen Hurts. I think that might be the only one that anybody's scared of. Nobody's scared of Geno Smith. Nobody's scared of Dak Prescott. Nobody's scared of Daniel Jones. Nobody's scared of Justin Fields,
maybe whoever's quarterbacking for the Niners.
Kirk Cousins. Jordan Love, people will be very fearful of when they learn how good he is, but that'll be a little bit before we see that.
What is there an update on Rodgers? I thought he was supposed to make his thing after coming out of the darkness, and that was a week ago.
We'll get there. We'll get there. A couple more things there before that.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah. Uh,
And then the Cardinals cut Robbie Anderson to save like 12 million in cap space. The Bucks also cut you and I's favorite left tackle in the game, Donovan Smith, who helps every team who plays the Bucks because he gets 3 holding penalties a game, always on big plays as well.
I responded to the tweet that said he was getting cut, and I said he just got another holding penalty. I thought it would go off a little more, but I got like 2 likes.
Oh, I didn't see it. I would have been liking it as many times as it would let me.
Yeah, big holding guy last year. Probably going to end up with like the Giants or the Jets.
It's not even last year.
Well, it was very noticeable last year. Probably because the Bucks weren't as good last year is probably why we noticed it so much.
Well, yeah, because it was every big play they had that
Yeah.
we're going to keep them on the field. Nope. Now it went from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 18. Thanks, Donovan.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brady's in the huddle like, yeah, baby, Donovan. And I did think they basically signed Devin White, though, basically for the rest of his career. Pretty much locked him up.
Yeah.
But now they're talking about moving Tristan Wirfs. They're going to ask him if he wants to play left tackle. Though I wouldn't mind if maybe that's a spot where Taylor Lewan comes in for a couple of years until they can draft a guy.
I think it would be easier on them if they just made Wirfs the left tackle and tried to find a right tackle, because it's easier to find a right tackle than a left tackle.
Well, no, I'm saying even if Tristan Wirfs can move to left tackle, sure, Taylor Lewan didn't play right, which I don't know which knee it was he tore, but maybe it'll take pressure off of that knee because he's using his other one more.
Sure. The Ravens tag Lamar Jackson as the sides can't agree to a deal. This is a whole big thing. I don't really want to get into it, but
Which did he get the same tag that Saquon did?
I believe so. Yeah, except the compensation might be higher, given the what you have to give up when you sign him, which is why teams like the Falcons and Panthers aren't going to do it. It's a problem when you have a day where you see Geno Smith get this money and Lamar's not getting it. It doesn't really compute for me.
I saw thinking like the top paid quarterbacks. It's like Kyler Murray. I think it might be Geno, and then this is like their guaranteed. Or not, Geno's not in there. It's Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and then there's Aaron Rodgers at his like 50 a year and 150 guaranteed or whatever, and the other guys is are way more. It's like this guy has won an MVP, and the offensive coordinator base his game around the Mars, and then you have the GM calling out receivers, and they need to get better receivers. Well, maybe you need an offensive coordinator who you just got who can put some more passing routes in the game for receivers who want to go there. That's why all these other receivers have left or not want to go to Baltimore, because they're not going to get touches.
Yeah, it's a problem. So hopefully he can get paid. The Seahawks and Geno Smith agreed to a deal. I don't even know the numbers, but it was a lot of money.
I think it was a 3-year deal.
And it was 100-something.
120 or 140, somewhere in there.
Yeah, congrats to Geno.
I mean, he earned it the way he played last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
The year prior, like we hated on him coming into the season because how last year he couldn't throw the ball more than 15 yards.
Yeah.
And he did this with his running back core, just keeps I don't know what happened since Marshawn left up there with running backs, but they cannot get a running back to stay healthy for an entire year. Yeah. I mean, Kenneth Walker was healthy for most of the year. But you still got those other backs, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and those guys that can't stay healthy.
Yeah, they got to figure that out. But, Geno earned it. The Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers gets permission, meets with the Jets brass, which is like Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, owner Woody Johnson, a couple others.
Probably his buddy Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think he's pretty much now deciding between three things. Does he want to get traded to the Jets? Does he want to return to Green Bay? And does he want to retire? And I would rank them as such right now. I think with the way things seem, I think number 1 is going to the Jets. I think number 2 is retiring. And I think number 3 is returning to Green Bay, because it feels like if he's going to get permission by the Packers and he's going to be willing to take on a meeting with the Jets, why would he come back? That doesn't make any sense.
You don't think he'll have a meeting with the Raiders to reconnect with Devonta?
I doubt it. I don't think the Raiders are doing that. I think the Raiders already have enough. I think that this is a report that they already know they have so many flaws in their roster, they're not going to bring in a quarterback who's making that much money.
I'm just thinking, if he has Adams again, Renfro, and then Waller.
Yeah, it'd be good, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So it's pretty much up to him now to green light a trade, and I think the Packers will probably get like a 2nd-round pick and maybe another second and a player or something, but who knows? Whatever. It's depressing, but whatever.
Maybe you'll get like their big defensive tackle.
0% chance. The best player that the Packers will get back is like Corey Davis or some BS. I'm checked out on football anyway until September. Well, I guess the draft, but.
Yeah, which one is that? How much longer do we have till the draft?
Is
it in April?
Month and a half, late April, yeah.
And then on to golf. You had the Arnold Palmer Invitational last weekend. The winner was Kurt Kitayama. Won $3.6 million, shot 9 under. Almost blew it in the last couple holes.
Yeah, it was another tournament where Spieth was getting hot down the stretch, and then bogeys 3 of the last 5. It's like, that's pretty much Jordan Spieth for you.
Rory tried coming back. Brahm, what was he? He was like 7 under after day 1.
And then shot like 78.
And then shot 4 over and 4 over. And then even on the last day to finish one over, tied for 31st.
Tough conditions, good golf course, hard golf course, so not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the winner's shooting 9 under, and +1 is tied for 31st.
Yeah. So.
And the cut line was 2 over after 2 days.
Yeah.
But this weekend you have the Players' Championship. Defending champion Cameron Smith will not be there.
Yeah. Well, good field, though. Good field. Regardless.
TPC Sawgrass at the Players Stadium course in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Yeah. Always a good, great tournament.
Oh, yeah. Good field.
Got the iconic Island 17th green.
Yeah, which I could hit in one try.
I'd like to see the over-under on that.
I could do it, guaranteed. But I actually struggle to hit par threes at bad courses lately, at least. So I don't know. All right, college hoops.
Yeah, breaking news right before we recorded. You had Syracuse's coach Jim Boeheim retiring after 47 years at Syracuse to be replaced by Adrian Autry.
Yeah, I think Boeheim overstayed his welcome. I think this is a few years late in terms of when he should have hung it up.
Yeah, not to bring up a sore subject, I thought he would have left after the whole accident issue.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was his way out.
But
then he had his boys come in after that, or they were there. One of them was at least there during that, I think. So I think he just wanted to stay through them, which they left last year. So I thought he would have left last year, but I don't think he wanted to leave the same year as Coach K.
Yeah, and I think everybody probably thought that it was over this year anyway, but now it's official. The way he was with the media, the way he was with other coaches in the conference is very weird late in his career. So I think maybe people view him a little bit differently now than they would have a decade ago. But I used to root for Syracuse teams when they made deep runs. And the last couple of years, I've been very much not in favor of Boeheim, just the way he was late in his career.
Yeah, and now it's going to be weird to see like how Autry plays it. Is he still going to run the zone, or is Syracuse going to be a man-to-man defensive team now?
I think they change it up. I have to think.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of his system. And yeah, Autry could honor his system and try doing it. I have a feeling like at some points of games, they'll go back to it.
Yeah, throw him a zone look.
Yeah. But they're not going to play a 2-3 zone the whole game.
Yeah.
The new top 25, Houston stays put at 1, UCLA up 2-2, Kansas stays put at 3, Alabama drops 2-4, Purdue stays put at 5.
Marquette stays at 6, Texas up 2-7, Arizona stays at 8, Gonzaga up 1-9, Baylor drops 3-10.
UConn up 3-11, K-State down 1-12, Virginia stays put at 13, Miami up 2-14, Xavier up 4-15.
St. Mary's drops to 16, Tennessee St. Mary's up 1-16, Tennessee drops 5-17, Texas A&M up 6-18 from 24, Indiana drops 4-19, San Diego State drops 2-20.
And Duke jumps into the top 25 at 21. TCU stays put at 22. Kentucky stays put at 23. Creighton jumps into the top 25 at 24. And Mizzou also jumps into the top 25 at 25. And you've already had the WAC finish their tournament when you had Gonzaga versus St. Mary's in a good game. Gonzaga came on top and won there. So are they the first automatic bid?
I have Kennesaw State out of the Atlantic Sun.
Okay, out of big known conferences.
Yeah. UNC Asheville out of the Big South, Charleston out of the CAA, which the committee would have had to decide whether to make Charleston an at-large or not if they would have lost last night to UNC Wilmington because, Charleston, not the greatest resume in terms of wins. like quality wins, but they won 30 games. So the committee would have had to make a decision.
And they were ranked for how many weeks?
Yeah, multiple weeks. Northern Kentucky out of the Horizon, Drake out of the Missouri Valley. The winner of the conference tournament in the Northeast was Merrimack, but they're ineligible for the tournament because of the transition from D2 to D1. But next year they're eligible, which is annoying because Merrimack has won the regular season in that conference twice and a conference tournament in 4 or 5 years of being in D1 basketball, and they can't get in. So Fairleigh Dickinson is in out of the Northeast. And then the OVC is Southeast Missouri. SEMO gets in, and then SoCon and the SoCon and the Summit were two real chalk ones where Furman, the 1 seed, and the SoCon gets the automatic bid, and then the Summit, Oral Roberts, just absolutely ran through that league. So they're back in. A team that got to the Sweet 16 a couple of years ago as a 15 seed.
Did you say that Ohio Valley is done?
Yeah, Southeast Missouri.
Did you happen to see the punch thrown?
Yeah, not great. That was the UT Martin SIUE game. Yeah, pretty dumb, but UT Martin ended up winning that game. And they got 2 players got thrown out, even though the one that threw the punch was from SIUE.
One of the guys from UT Martin did throw one, but not the guy who got punched.
Right. Louisiana out of the Sun Belt, and then Gonzaga out of the WCC. So, and then there's one going on right now, 3 minutes to go in the Southland between Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Northwestern State.
I don't know why I always call it the WAC.
The WAC is the Western Athletic, where you got Grand Canyon, Tarleton, Southern Utah.
For some reason, I always call Gonzaga and St. Mary and those guys their conference the WAC.
What can you do?
You had a lot of updates last Saturday, or upsets.
Yeah, weird stuff happens last Saturday of the season.
A&M beating Alabama, Texas beating Kansas, UCLA, or what's the other one? Iowa State beating Baylor by 15.
Duke beat North Carolina, big upset.
Which Texas beating Kansas was by 16. West Virginia beating Kansas State, that was a big one. Auburn beating Tennessee.
How about Seton Hall beating the absolute brakes off of Xavier?
Miami beating
Providence.
Miami beating Pitt, which also took Pitt out of the 1 seed, and I think dropped them to like the 4.
Yeah, and they ended up. I think they're the 5 actually. They won today against Georgia Tech, so they're firmly in the field.
Seton Hall beating Providence by 24.
Yeah, Marquette almost blew it against St. John's.
Oklahoma beating TCU. A lot of upsets.
Yeah, weird stuff happens
going into the tournament.
So we'll have a lot more college basketball next week because we'll have a bracket to discuss. So, and we'll do some picks later, and it'll be the same format we've done for last couple years now. So
but other than the ones they've already got, other than the big Power 5, Power 6 conferences, they're all trying to host what set this weekend?
What?
They're trying to host what this weekend?
Who's trying to do what?
The Power 5, Power 6 conferences. They're trying to win what, host what this weekend? Looks like this.
Yeah, they're trying to. Oh yeah. I completely forgot about that entire thing. The teams want to raise trophies, and that's something that when you're 38 minutes in, your brain goes a lot of different places, and that one slipped through. But yeah, I already said it, so we'll see. They're trying to hoist those up, and we'll find out if they do. And then there'll be a big one in the beginning of April where you'll really have one, and you'll have nets going everywhere and stuff. But anyway, we'll see. Transition MLB. Or baseball. The World Baseball Classic is underway. I didn't even look at the results from yesterday, but I know the U.S. doesn't play their first real game until Saturday. I think they have a scrimmage tonight. But
did the Netherlands end up beating Cuba?
The Netherlands did win, yeah. And then I think Panama played or something. So we'll keep updates on that. But
some of those lineups in those games,
you had
that Netherlands Cuba game. It was a great matchup.
Panama beat Chinese Taipei 12-5. Those are the two results so far. And then there's tonight there's Australia, Korea, and then Panama, Netherlands.
And then do you think there's going to be anything going on with how they can't shift the infield, but how like the Red Sox did with Joey Gallo, where they basically took their left fielder and put him in shallow right? Or do you think that's just going to be the way to shift? Even though, I mean, if a guy can hit a ball over 30, he's guaranteed a double, if not a triple.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll approach that.
I mean, did you see that picture of that shift?
I did, yeah. Very weird. But it's a loophole.
And then Vegas makes a pitch to the Oakland A's to come to Nevada.
Yeah, I think it'll eventually happen. And if it doesn't happen, Vegas will get an expansion team because I think Major League Baseball will get a couple of expansion teams in the next decade for sure.
Yeah, and maybe too we'll get like the NBA will get back into maybe getting a team up in Oregon Oregon again.
Washington.
You knew where I was going.
Yeah. All right, the NHL here real quick. A couple deadline day deals that are important. You had Jakob, I believe it's Jakob. That's what they want people to say. Vrana to St. Louis, and you had John Klingberg to Minnesota. Really the only couple notable trades, even though the Blues aren't a team that's going to win anything this year. But Vrana will be there next year, and he's previously a couple-time 20-goal scorer. So a lot of talent, a lot of speed still there. So we'll see what he has in him. The Bruins traded for Tyler Bertuzzi from the Red Wings on Thursday. Probably a great encapsulation of what a Bruins player is, Bertuzzi. He kind of plays like Marchand in some ways, so I think that's a good fit. I didn't even pull up the deal itself. I should probably find that, but I think that's a good move and kind of a surprising move for what
they gave up a first round, which I think is a protected top 10, and then maybe a later round pick for him.
It was a 2024 first, top 10 protected, and a 2025 fourth. So good deal. And they'll probably re-sign him too. And Detroit retained 50% this year, so they're only paying him $2.375. And they extended.
Yeah, saying this was the big one that's been trying to work on all year, but they were trying to make it not a distraction to the team.
Yeah, they extended David Pastrnak 8 years, $11.25 million per year. I think a good deal for both sides. And I think the Bruins being as good as they were this year pretty much saved the fact that Pastrnak wasn't ever going to hit free agency. Because I think if they were like a middling team, they lost in the first round or didn't make the playoffs at all, which some people predicted, not me though. I had them making it just for the record. I think there was a chance that he wouldn't have stuck around, but now he does.
Yeah, and they're now the fastest team to reach 100 points at 61 games. The next was the Canadiens in 76-77 at 62. The Lightning did it in 63 games in 18-19, as well as Canadiens did it in 63, 77, 78. So back-to-back years, Canadiens did it, and then the Bruins did it in 71-72 at 63 games.
I think the weird thing here is that, like, the Bruins are historically good this year, but I don't feel like it doesn't feel like the Lightning did because the Lightning won 62 games 4 years ago, I guess. And the Bruins, as good as they are this year, just doesn't feel the same. I don't know why. Like, they have Hall of Famers, they have great players in the team, but the Lightning thing felt probably because the Lightning thing was kind of like team. There wasn't really a team that had been that historic in a while. So maybe it's because the Lightning did it 4 years ago. We're like, yeah, well, we saw 62 games.
I think Vasilevsky was playing like lights out that entire year.
And I think expectations going into the year that Tampa was going to be dominant. I don't think anybody expected the Bruins to be like actually dominant this year.
Yeah, like you brought back Krejci, and you made a couple offseason like low key signings.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, you better hope that the Bruins have a better playoff run than that Tampa team did, because that Tampa team lost in the first round to Columbus.
And then there's another guy. You say he's in the World Hockey League, correct?
Western
Hockey League. Connor Bedard,
number 1 pick.
Saturday he had 4 goals, 5 point, 10-shot night and a 5-3 win over first place Winnipeg. Now has 58 goals, 61 assists, 119 points, and 299 shots on goal in just 46 games played. His 7th hat trick at 8th 5-point night with 11 games left in Regina. He's tracking for 72 games and 147 points in 57 games played.
Historically good. Generation
person with 72 goals, not games.
A potentially generational talent here. He's going to be the number 1 pick in a draft where there's probably 5 number 1 picks in this year's draft. Because I think if you look at the top, at least the top 4 with Adam Fantilli, I think Matvei Michkov is still that guy, and Leo Carlsson. Those 4 right there, that top 4 with Bedard, would have been the number 1 pick last year if they were in that draft. So this year's draft is historically good, and you have a potentially generational guy for the first time since McDavid. And the WHL is probably the second tier of the 3 Canadian hockey leagues and juniors. So the OHL is the top of the top, and those numbers are great. And if he was doing it in the OHL, it'd be even greater because you look at what McDavid did in the OHL. He had 120 points in 47 games in his last year in the OHL. And obviously McDavid this year is going to just absolutely blow everybody out of the water in points. I mean, it's insane what he's doing this year. And that's a perfect transition into the stat leaders. Where
did you get to Klingberg?
Yeah. Klingberg is essentially a forward at this point of his career, but that's neither here nor there. Points leaders, McDavid, 124 points. I mean, he's 28 points ahead of the next guy. And how many games? They got like 18 games left, right? So he could get to. I think he'd get to 150 at least.
Yeah, with the amount of points he gets a game, and I mean he's 28 points over his teammate.
And then you also have Zach Hyman's a point per game at like 72 points, and Nugent Hopkins is like 78 points. So they got 4 guys right there that are all going to be 80-plus point guys, and they're probably not going to do anything in the playoffs, but maybe they will. And the other thing with McDavid is he get 16 goals away from 70. I think there's a chance there. And the stupid thing about McDavid is like he's the third thing I think about when I think about Connor McDavid is goal scoring, which is insane that he could have a 70-goal season, and that's the third thing you think about. Because I think first you think about the speed. Maybe the fourth thing is goal scoring, because then you got to think about the passing ability and like the puck skills. It's just so dumb how good he is.
Defenseman points is still Erik Karlsson at 82. He's now 15 ahead.
Rookie points is Matty Beniers at 47. He's 10 ahead.
Yeah, he's finally moved at that number.
Yeah.
Goals, Connor McDavid, 54, 10 ahead, which is 10 ahead of Pasta, who hasn't really done much in the last week and a half.
Little slump. The other thing with McDavid is I don't think that there's – I think in the 4 main sports, I think the gap between McDavid and the next best player in the league is bigger with McDavid than anybody in sports right now. Because I think the best player in the NFL is probably Patrick Mahomes. And the gap between Patrick Mahomes and the second best player is not as big as the gap between McDavid and whoever the second best player in the NHL is. Like, it's not even close with how good he is. So, something to think about. Defenseman goals, Erik Karlsson at 19. He's 1 ahead.
Rookie goals, Matty Beniers, 19, 3 ahead.
Assists, Connor McDavid, 70, 4 ahead.
Defenseman assist, Erik Karlsson, 63, 8 ahead.
Rookie assist, Matthias Michelli of the Coyotes, 28. He's tied with Beniers in that stat.
Yeah, Matty Beniers starting to actually get some points up after getting up early and then kind of settling down.
Yep.
Goalie wins, Linus Ullmark at 32, 3 ahead.
And Ullmark also leads in save percentage, but he at 938 only .003 ahead, so it's getting tight.
And team points leader is the Bruins at 49, 8-5, 103 points, 11 ahead.
All right, let's do the picks. Last week for me, 8-4. I'm 727 and 556.
I went 9-3, 744, and 565. I was like 1-1 in NBA and NHL, 5-1 in college hoops, and I hit on 2 golfers.
I hit on 2 golfers as well. I had Spieth top 20 and Scheffler top 5.
I had Scheffler top 5, and then I had Victor Hovland top 20. He tied for 10th.
All right.
I did have Rory pick to win. Was one stroke away from doing that.
We got let's start with the NBA tonight.
I got the Heat +2 over the Cavs and the Clippers -3 over the Raptors.
Give me the Bulls +9 at the Nuggets and the Clippers minus whatever you said against the Raptors.
-3.
Yeah, I had a 2.5. I'll change it to 3. All right, NHL.
I got Vegas +145 over the Lightning and the Blues -140 over the Sharks.
I don't know about that. I got Vegas as well over Tampa, and then I got the Bruins, so we're picking each other's teams. That's kind of weird. The Bruins -180 over the Oilers. All right, let's do the players.
To win, I have Rory +900, John Rahm +1,000, our guy Max Homa +2,000.
I have Scheffler +900, Will Zalatoris +3,500, and it's going to happen at some point, usually in this time of the year. Give me Spieth +4,000 because he won in April last year at the RBC, and the year before that he won in April or late March at the Valero, Texas. So he usually wins this time of the year, so maybe he'll do it here.
Top 5, I have Scotty Scheffler at +240.
I have Sung J.M. +700.
Top 10, Patrick Cantlay +190.
I have our guy Max Homa +210.
Top 20, Colin Morikawa +110.
I have Tom Kim +175.
And top 40, I have Hideki Matsuyama at +110.
I have Sahith Theegala +110. All right, college hoops. We have the Power 6 conference tournament winners. This is, I think, the third year of doing this way. So I usually never hit on any of these because if I go to the top of my document for betting picks, the first one on here, the first episode we did was during this week. And I picked Florida State, Baylor, Purdue, UConn, Oregon, Arkansas that year to win them, and none of them won. So not great. And if I could find last year's, I probably went 0 for as well. So I guess we'll start in the ACC.
I'm picking Virginia.
I am taking Duke, your boys. Probably the best team in the conference. Probably.
Are you doing this because you don't win these, so you're just picking them to?
I mean, some would say. I took Duke last year as well, and they lost to Virginia Tech. Was that in the finals, Virginia Tech?
I believe so.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a tough matchup playing Miami again.
Yeah.
Virginia's on the easier side of the bracket, though. If North Carolina wins, those play North Carolina, who you don't know what team you're getting with them.
Yeah.
But if they get hot in this tournament, they're gonna be a lower seed in the tournament, and they can make a run again.
Yeah, I agree. Big East.
I have Xavier.
Taking UConn. Big Ten.
Purdue.
I'm taking Michigan. Why not? Big 12.
Texas.
I will take Baylor, even though Scott Drew hasn't had a ton of success in the Big 12 tournament. Give me Baylor. Pac-12.
I got Arizona.
I got UCLA, although I could see Oregon stealing a bid and winning it. UCLA is going to be without Jalen Clark for the rest of the year. He played the 3 for them, versatile, elite defender. Achilles, he's out for the year, so that's brutal for UCLA, but they still got some pieces to do something. I don't think they'll win a national championship now that I thought that they could if Jalen Clark was healthy, but I'll take them to win the Pac-12 tournament. SEC.
I'm taking Bama.
I'm taking the Commodores of Vanderbilt. A little bid stealing action here. A team that's hot going into the tournament. Stackhouse has done a nice job with them this year. So I think one of the Power 6 conferences is going to have a real bid stealer, and I'll say that Vanderbilt is the one to do it here. So I'll probably be wrong. I'll probably go 0 for 6 again. I'm usually terrible with these, so you never know. But all right, we will see you next week for number 102. We'll have the same stuff going on. We got the World Baseball Classic to talk about with the U.S. playing Saturday night against Great Britain, and they'll have another game, I'm sure, between Saturday and Wednesday as well. So
and then we'll have the playing games for college hoops.
Yep, we'll have all that, have the bracket breakdown and everything. So we'll see everybody next week for number 102.
Deuces.